record store based in South Jersey. It's the only one that's closest to where I live. Unfortunately, there isn't a lot around where I live, so this is the one that I go to the most. Let's check out what they got. So the great thing about the rock shop is that it not only does it cater to vinyl, but it also pretty much covers all your rock needs. It has everything from CDs, cassettes, books, t-shirts, posters, everything. So there's no way that you can leave empty-handed at this store. There's all kinds of great stuff, and we'll check out what they got. Also, cool thing too that you might come across are some Third Man Records vault releases. This is the Jack White Live at Third Man Records release. This is from, I believe this is from 2012, and this is actually his very first solo show that he did at his headquarters in Nashville. Pretty cool to find here. Ooh. So this is a really cool release. This is actually, I believe, from a record store day several years ago. This is a US only compilation of Nick Drake stuff. I'm not quite sure on what is the track listing. I'm not sure if it's his first two albums joined together or if it's a selection of tracks. This is a really cool Nick Drake release. Turns out there is some record store day stuff here. This is the David Bowie Let's Dance 12-inch that came out this year. Pretty cool to find, and also quite surprising considering that usually Bowie is one of those artists that a lot of people go after on a record store day. There's always something Bowie related coming out, so this is actually really cool to find. So last time that I was here, which as of today filming this was about, I'm going to say about a month or so ago, I came across this. Now this is David Bowie's Stage. Now as you can see on the hype sticker, it is limited edition on yellow vinyl. If you look at the catalog number, which obviously you can't really catch too much on this, this is actually a strip away from the latest New Career in a New Town box set, because they did release Stage separately recently, which is the 2017 edition, which is the entire concert. There's more tracks on this than the standard regular version that came out back in '78. But this right here is indeed the repressing on yellow vinyl, which is, I don't think you can really find this much at your local record stores. Not sure if someone stripped their box and brought it back in, but pretty cool to find for the most part. Alright, so the cool thing about the rock shop is that on top of everything that they offer, they actually have a little spotlight for some local musicians that are going out there supporting what they want to do, and they actually are let them drop off some CDs and they sell them off. And one of them is this guy. This is actually my first album that I did back in 2016. The former owner, I don't know if it's the owner, but the former manager here was a guy named Jeff, a really great guy, and thanks to him, that's why my CD is one of the very few retailers that actually sell it, so it's actually still cool to see it still here. So of course, considering my love for the band, I always go to the Pink Floyd section because of all the artists that they sell here. The Floyd stuff is stuff that they have so much of. Like they have the reissues, some particular older pressings that are quite valuable, as well as some possible bootlegs and whatnot. So let's take a look at what they offer here. So right off the bat, a lot of the reissues, imports. This is actually really cool. So this is a modern boot that came out recently. As you can see, it's called the Early Years 68 to 69. You Floyd fans that have the Early Years box set, this is essentially a compilation which features a lot of those tracks on here. So you have things like Roger's Boogie, Song 1, the main theme from the More soundtrack. Really cool stuff. really cool, I don't know if you can call it a bootleg, but this is a live FM broadcast from 1980. So it has 2112 for the most part in its entirety, almost. There's a couple sections that are missing, and then you also have some of the stuff from the first 4 albums on the B-side, and it's on blue sparkly vinyl. This is actually a really cool release. Alright, so I have mentioned this record before on my channel. I think I mentioned it in the vinyl tag, but this is a record that I recommend to anybody. This is Kurt Weill's Smoke Ring for My Halo.
So yeah,
now, the cool thing with this record is that this is actually an alternate cover. I call this the electric cover because obviously he's playing an electric guitar. The copy that I have it's a black and white photo which features him playing the acoustic, which I think fits the aesthetic of this album. It's very kind of laid back, dreary, dreamy, moody type of stuff. So this is definitely an album that I would definitely recommend to anybody. Look at this. I've never noticed this. These are all the box sets. Check all these out.
Ooh, careful.
Led Zeppelin 4 CD box. No way. Look at this.
I knew you were gonna go for that.
Alright, so look at this box set. Is every known recording from the Larks, Tongues, and Aspic era, King Crimson. This is 15 discs, all CDs. I think there's DVDs in here, Blu-rays, surround sound mixes. Pretty much every note that this incarnation of King Crimson has played is on this box. This is really, really cool. Oh, wow. Look at this. This is the Road to Red box. This is pretty much the red period of King Crimson. This is everything that's out there, all the shows, the album, remixed, everything. This is really, really cool.
Could you say they left you on red?
Yes, they did. This is the frame by frame. This is cool. This is really, really great. Now, one of my favorite Crimson lineups is the one that features John Wetton, Robert Fripp, Bill Bruford, and David Cross, and this is a really cool live box set called The Great Deceiver, which is pretty much a compilation of several shows and whatnot of that lineup, and it's all here on a 4-disc box set. This is actually really, really great, and it's just also interesting because they would do a lot of improvisations in the live sets, and a lot of that stuff would be featured on some of their studio albums, so this kind of goes more in depth into that. Normally when I visit record stores and my girlfriend is with me, she likes to dig through the bargain CD section to find some finds.
Find some finds.
What do you got so far?
I have
STP.
this because that's you. Snow Patrol because I want to see if I want to get back into them or not. And then Frank Sinatra,
Oh, Blue
of course.
Eyes.
Because Frank Sinatra is the best.
So I'm sure if you shop at your local record store and you kind of come in with somewhat of a budget, this tends to happen. So now I have to narrow down exactly which ones I really want and which ones I will feel most satisfied leaving with. Alright, so we just left the record store, and after a very indecisive process of selecting what I wanted to buy, I finally got some new additions to the collection. Now, as of the filming of this video, I've kind of been on a real Dream Theater and Doors kick. 2 very different bands, but I've just been listening to them a lot, so I really wanted to try to leave with some Doors and Dream Theater records. So the first one that I got is The Doors' Waiting for the Sun. This is the band's 3rd album. This of course features Hello, I Love You, and also includes 5 to 1. Those are 2 excellent Doors classics. And of course there's also Not to Touch the Earth, which is part of the Celebration of the Lizard Suite. This is one that I've been really wanting for a long time. This is kind of one of those deep cut favorite records of mine, so I am very glad to have this. And of all the Dream Theater records that the store had, I did leave with this. This is the band's self-titled album from 2013. This is one that I have not listened to a whole lot. Like, I know, I would say about half this album I am very fond of. It's things like Enemy Inside, The Looking Glass, Enigma Machine. This is actually a very, very great sounding record. The production kind of reminds me a little bit of Images and Words, which was their first kind of major breakthrough album, but very glad to be giving this a spin. And then the last 2 were ones that I was kind of going back and forth with, sort of, and just trying to figure out exactly what I wanted to leave with aside from those 2. So I decided to get this. Now, this is King Crimson's Islands. This is one that I have not listened to yet. I'm still in the process of working my way through the King Crimson discography. This is the only one that I really needed to kind of complete my early King Crimson collection. This, right off the bat, has Sailor's Tale in the Letters, which are tracks that the band has been playing live on their recent tours. So I have heard some of the stuff from this record, but in terms of the album as a whole, this is going to be a first-time listen for me, and I am very, very excited to listen to it. And also, right off the bat, the artwork is absolutely everything. And then last is a record that I really wanted to get into for, I would say, more so recently, and it's a band that I'm kind of new to. My girlfriend is a very huge fan of this band, and it's kind of thanks to her that I decided to pull the trigger on this. This is Panic at the Disco's Pretty Odd. From what I've heard so far of Panic, I mean, yes, it's very much kind of the early stuff in the pop-punk vein, and now becoming a little bit more poppy now. But this record, as soon as I heard, I believe it's the song Northern Downpour, I was absolutely intrigued with this. If you're at all a fan of Sgt. Pepper Magical Mystery Tour Beatles stuff, and let's say Pet Sounds and Smile Beach Boys stuff, you will absolutely adore this record. And I'm just very, very excited to give this a spin because I pretty much know what I am going to expect. So yeah, so this is going to be another first time listen, and I am so excited to dig it in. So that right there is my little trip to the rock shop here in Mays Landing, New Jersey. If you enjoyed this video, please give this video a like and subscribe to the channel. See you guys in the next video, and most importantly, keep the record spinning.
Hi everybody, welcome to the CD player. My name is Sam, and I just got a haul from the rock shop in Hamilton Mall, I think. And I have a couple CDs here that I'm just gonna run through and tell you all these cool finds I found. This one is Snow Patrol, Final Straw. It doesn't have the song I wanted on it, but it sounds cool. This is Carly Simon, Letters Never Sent, and she's cool too. I mainly bought it just because I like her voice. This is Norah Jones. I just bought this because I like her voice. This is Bare Naked Ladies, and I only bought this because it has the song 1 Week, because it goes, it's been 1 week since you looked at me. And this one is Frank Sinatra, Old Blue Eyes. American Music Legends. It's a greatest hit album, and it's from Cracker Barrel. And I don't remember the meme about Cracker Barrel, or else I would say it. The last one is Hootie and the Blowfish, Fairweather Johnson. It has a crack on the back, but it is lovely. And this happens. It has a little booklet in it. And it has this thing. It's a merchandise collection thing. And yeah.
So be sure to fill it out and send it. You might get free swag.
Yeah. And yes, that's about it. So that's, to make a long story short, I hope you enjoyed this video. As always, this is a CD player. And keep the CD playing.